I've got the bridge blocked, but now I'm going to take the bridge off, take it apart, and re-intonate it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the nut. I'm going to take the tension off of each string. All the strings are loosened. Now I'm going to disengage the string lock screws at the bridge. This is part where I put the music in edit as I do it. Remove the strings. Now I will remove the springs. Set them aside. Okay, we loosened the strings, popped them out, took the springs off the back, took the bridge out. This is the part where you will tape the picks to the front of the base plate, or the block, I'm sorry, or not worry about it because you installed the tremolo stopper. Now to take the bridge apart, it's very simple. Take the 6 string lock screws out. Keep everything in order, and you're going to put it back just as you take it off. Then I'm going to loosen the 6 saddle mounting screws and remove the saddles. Be careful not to lose your saddle mounting blocks. Tip: if you want to get an idea close to where your intonation was, even though we're going to re-intonate, take a little Sharpie and kind of mark the saddles at the center of each screw. It's not a guarantee of being intonated, but it's going to get you close for where we have to intonate. You'll have to make less adjustments, and the Sharpie will wipe off when you're done. I'm going to take the 6 saddles off, put them right on the table in the order I took them off. Now you'll see under the saddles there's 3 block mounting screws. The assembly is pretty easy here. Under the block mounting screws is the base plate, this little tension plate for the screws, and then there's a little block shim under there. Now if you look at the distance here, you'll see the size of the block you have on there. Sometimes it's 32, 34, 36, 37. So what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to use actually, if I use a 37 without his shim, it's either 34 that's 32 that's too close, or the shim. I'm going to use a 37 without his shim. I'm going to show you a trick how to get this off. The same wrench that you use to take the nut and loosen it. Okay. Now I just have the base plate, the string lock tension plate, which goes right on here. Worry about this. I'm going to take the block mounting screw and put it right through the center hole to hold it together. I'm going to take the new big block with the spring mounting screws pointed towards the nut, like that. I'm going to get the screw to catch within the threads, just a little bit. Then I'm going to put the 2 other screws in. Once I have the 3 screws attached, and I have the spring mounting holes closest to the pickup side or nut side of the bridge, I'm going to tighten these 3 screws up very simply, just like this. And then once they're snug, give them a nice little turn. Now, you can see the difference from the original block to the big block. If you're into good tone, that's the ticket. If you're into bad tone, that's your ticket. So, now, I'm going to reinstall the saddles. You can do them one at a time, or if you're slick, you take all 6, pop them in like that. Throw the string lock screws right back in, so they kind of hold the little mounting blocks in place. Just hand tighten them, nothing fancy. We're making this job very simple. Your local guitar shop will charge you $100 for this and tell you how hard it is, but we know better. Once you get good at this, and once you do it the first time, every time after that, this job will take you about 20-25 minutes, start to finish. Then you'll get faster and faster and faster. Once the string lock screws are in, you see the saddles are still loose. I'm going to line the saddles up right in the neighborhood of the marks I made with the Sharpie. Tighten them back down. The bridge will not be completely intonated even though you marked it, but we're going to intonate it. So once this is set, we're going to drop the bridge back in place and reconnect the springs. And you might want to use like a padded table and protect your guitar's finish, but since this is Joe's guitar, I really don't give a shit about the finish. I'm kind of going to just hold it in place, flip it over, just like that. And I'm going to reinstall the springs. Now, this is a key point. Come back to me. Even though I'm going to refloat this bridge when we're done. But even though Joe used 3 springs normally to keep the right amount of tension on, and we're going to adjust the tension, for the sake of the setup, you have to have increased spring tension to be stable during setup. You can do it 2 ways. You can either increase the spring tension by tightening the spring tension claw screws, or both are temporary. You can increase the spring tension during setup by adding an extra spring just for the setup. For all you floating guys, do not panic. We're going to change this later. But for the sake of setup, we're going to add a spring. Tremolo stopper in place, additional spring added for setup. Now, reattach your strings.